Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the president of MP Promotions and all-around boxing legend, at least for the people that know their stuff, Sean Gibbons. Sean, how are you doing?
Danny, doing wonderful. It's great to be back speaking with you. The last time we were talking to you, you brought us a lot of good luck because the next day, John Riel Casimero knocked out Solana at that day. So always great to be speaking with you.
Well, I think we've proved that you don't need my luck after what John Riel did to his challenger on Saturday night, Duke Micah. I think going into the fight, a lot of observers considered that Micah might be a bit of a banana skin. Coming in, unbeaten record, essentially nothing to lose apart from that 0. And John Riel got him out of there in pretty devastating fashion. How pleased were you with his performance?
Well, I mean, I was overly pleased because, you know, a lot of things that you just said, there's always the potential for a big letdown when you're training and you've been working out for 7-8 months and you've had a lot of peaks and valleys. You know, one moment you're fighting arguably the best pound-for-pound bantamweight in the world, Anoa'i, the monster. Then we had a few other offers, and some, you know, things kept happening. And then, you know, when we got offered Duke Micah, it's definitely Duke Micah was a formidable opponent, undefeated, Olympian, training in New York with the guys that own, can't think of his name right now, the equipment there, Havoc. But really, like you said, nothing to lose. The guy was dead game. If you're not as good as Casimero, that guy, you know, Duke Mike is going to give a lot of guys problems. And you've seen the tremendous heart. I mean, this guy was done in the second round, and he stood in there like a true warrior he is, and basically was carried out on his shield.
I mean, seeing that performance from John Riel Casimero, do you think that makes Naoya Inoue's team more or less likely to take up the challenge?
Well, I didn't call it, but I think his new name is the Japanese Turtle, not the monster anymore. John Riel considers him. You know, I believe in Naoya, of course. You know, he considers himself the best. I think he wants Casimero. I hope somewhere with his promotional team of Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Mr. Honda, maybe in the new year we get it together somewhere. You know, at the moment, they decided to go a different route. They decided to take an in-house Jason Maloney. You know, they figured it was easy to make. They have contracts with those guys. Instead of really stepping out and giving the fans the fight that should have happened, because, you know, at Top Rank, they're doing big fights. They're doing Lomachenko, Teofimo. They're doing Valdez versus Belchurt. So, you know, they had it in the budget, but they chose to take the easy route. And now that they saw Casimero, you know, devastate Duke Micah, I don't know if Bob Arum's going to be in that big of a rush to make that fight.
How much of a factor was COVID in the fight not eventually happening?
COVID actually played, I would say, COVID really played pretty much the problem with everything because, you know, the fight needed the MGM and it needed kind of fans, you know, high rollers, people from Japan. It was his coming out party. It was really his first fight in the U.S. On a major network. He had fought here one other time about 3-4 years ago on HBO. But this was the real coming out party for Inoue. And, you know, with the MGM sponsoring it, they needed those Japanese high rollers. So COVID has been the winner over a lot of fighters during this period. They've had a lot of knockouts, COVID-19. So that's pretty much what deterred the fight.
How challenging overall have you found it as president of MP Promotions to get your guys out during this period with lockdowns and restrictions on international travel and everything like that?
Well, unfortunately, a great example of that is Jerwin and Kahas, the IBF super flyweight champion. You know, Top Rank had a ton of shows in June, July, August, and unfortunately, Jerwin was a casualty of, he had his visa approved on March 12th. The pandemic hit March 15th. They closed the U.S. Embassy for 3 months, and he couldn't get in. And then when he got to the appointment, it got canceled. So finally, he was able to get his visa on September, September the 15th. And then all of a sudden, all the dates are gone, and there's problems. So, you know, it's been challenging for guys like Jerwin and Kahas, but, you fighters that are in the U.S., like Mark Mixayo, John Riel Casimero, they have dates, they've had fights. Overall, it definitely caused a lot of problems, too, with some of the Hispanic fighters I have. Israel Gonzalez lost his world title fight. He was due to fight the Maloney brother that ended up getting beat by Josh Franco. So, it definitely caused some problems for some of the guys, but we had pretty good success too over that period with Magic Mike Pena, who beat Josh Greer. A lot of guys that were lucky that were in the country. It didn't affect that bad, but it really hurt Jerwin and Kahat and a couple other kids.
Now, Planier is obviously not one of your most high-profile fighters, but do you get even more satisfaction from a guy like him winning against the odds than maybe some of the higher-profile guys?
Which guy was that you said, Mike?
Mike Planier, who beat Josh Greer.
Yeah. I'm happy for any of those guys because, they sacrifice so much. They work so hard. I work with a lot of guys, so I get a lot of highs, a lot of lows, whatever. And these kids have one shot at it. They got one big go to either make or break, either go to the penthouse or back down to the outhouse.
Sure.
And I'm just always thrilled when I'm able to put them in the position and they get the job done. And I always loved Magic Mike, and I thought, that fight with Greer, he had a real shot of winning, as did a lot of people. And it was a great moment. But now I hope we can build off of that and get him something to get him some kind of world title fight or something else.
And you've got Raymart Gabayo as well, who's #1 challenger at bantamweight for Inoue, for one of Inoue's belts. What's going to happen there? Considering how difficult it's been to make the fight with Casimero, would you anticipate it being similarly difficult to get a Gabayo fight over the line?
It could be the same. If somebody's not, see, the other thing is I have the mandatory for Inoue. I got Inoue boxed in. I got 3 Filipinos coming for him. So I got John Riel Casimero, WBO champion, Raymart Gabayo, WBA #1, and I have the mandatory, the IBF challenger, Michael Dasmariñas, for Inoue. So, we're targeting. The Filipinos are coming for this guy heavy. we got him coming from all angles. And, depending on the situation, after he fights Maloney, he's got no way to get around Michael Dasmariñas. He has to fight him or give the belt up. So, and Raymart's going to fight in November for something, maybe a WBA interim, maybe. So I don't see those guys at the moment. I see, potentially still the biggest fight out there is Casimero and Inoue. But another fight we kind of like, possibly Guillermo Rigondeaux in a unification. And then a really interesting special fight would be Casimero attempting to go for his 4th weight class title against Luis Nery.
Wow, yeah, that'd be an amazing fight.
Yeah, and I watched Nery. Nery's an amazing guy when it comes to letting the offense go, but defensively, he's a lot like Inoue, that their defense is very weak, but their offense is sensational. I think to me, Inoue, and not because I work with Casimero, but the guy's defense is really, really bad. And Casimero has special tools, special skills. He actually moves out of the way and slips punches. Inoue gets hit clean. So that's why I always like Casimero's chances with Inoue. Nery's the same way. Nery's even worse. Fights with his hands down, leads with his chin. Nery's been on the deck 3 different times, and twice to Filipino fighters, in the last few years in his career. So, if Inoue does not happen, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to chase it anymore. We're not going to sit here and say, hey, that's what we're waiting for. Casimero is as you saw, is such a charismatic, fun, exciting TV guy himself. So why should we chase something? Why are we chasing the monster? They know where we're at. They know how to find us. They want to make it, come make it. If not, all we're looking to do is get back on TV. If it's Showtime, if it's Fox, this kid's a fun kid. He's a TV-friendly fighter. So that's kind of the idea.
Now, for the people listening to this who don't know what MP Promotion stands for, I'm not sure why they're watching a boxing channel, but It obviously stands for Manny Pacquiao Promotions, living legend, Filipino icon, and state senator, of course, as well. Wouldn't be a complete conversation with Sean Gibbons without asking about the senator. How's he getting on? How's he balancing, training with his senatorial duties? And how have they been affected over there by the lockdown? Or have they had a lockdown?
Yeah, no, they've had a lockdown. When they lock down, it's not like England, it's not like the U.S. It's locked down. you don't leave the house without permission. You don't go to, we're locked down in the U.S. I don't feel any different. I can go to 7-Eleven, I can go to Walmart, I can roll out, I can drive to another state. But the Philippines is very different. When they go in lockdown in some of these cities, you're talking the military checkpoints. They have to, really get on it so people abide by the lockdown. So the senator spent most of his time in General Santos City at his hometown, and training wise, he's always doing something. It was basketball, hitting the pads, running. So he's maintained his condition over this period, and his senatorial duties, which is first and foremost what he does. Boxing's like a hobby. It's a good hobby though. It's
Yeah.
a hobby that pays well.
A lucrative hobby, yeah.
But being a senator is one, boxing is two. So during this whole time, he's been securing relief efforts with the COVID-19 masks, the testing kits, really just doing what he's supposed to as an elected official by the people. And it's a lot of Zoom meetings and everything because, like everywhere, they don't meet. So he's been he's been staying really busy with that, and just staying ready to get ready to hopefully re-enter the ring maybe in 2021 sometime.
And it looks like that re-entry may come against a particular UFC superstar, from what we've been hearing.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I don't know. I think that tweet came about noon or 1 o'clock when Conor was talking about he's fighting the senator next or challenging. I don't know if he was dipping into the proper 12 a little early with his coffee. But it's I told a lot of people it's something that absolutely would be of interest. When you have two big global icons, like Conor, like the senator that people know in every country you go. An event like that would be tremendous. But, at the moment, it's like everything. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of, possibilities. But it's a long way from happening. But if it could happen, hey, it would make a really, really fun fight.
Now, I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. A lot of people allege that Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Conor McGregor, carried the Irishman for a number of rounds to give the fans more entertainment or for whatever reason. I can't see Manny Pacquiao ever doing something like that. What about you?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this much. I was at the fight. I was about 5-6 rows back. And I don't believe that Floyd carried him at any point early on. That was the real deal. Conor McGregor can fight. He ain't no bum. I mean, maybe he's not going to beat the Manny Pacquiaos and the Floyd Mayweathers of the world, but if you take a top 10 guy and put him in there, he can compete with any of them anytime. And Mayweather basically being out of the ring for 2-3 years, and I'm telling you, when I was there, I was like, wow, this is really... Conor's got an awkward style, first of all. He's kind of... his arms are long and whatever. So early on, I believe he was doing well. That was the real deal. As he got tired, then Mayweather's experience took over. But, of course, Floyd's going to say things like that because that's maybe Floyd ego talking or whatever. But I didn't, being there live, I didn't feel like anybody was carrying anybody. I just felt like Mayweather knew he had the experience, and he let Conor come out and blow his wad. And then he stepped on the gas pedal when the guy got tired. Because people don't realize MMA shape, mixed martial arts shape and boxing shape, two different worlds, man. Two different worlds. So Conor's capable enough to work with anybody. Now, you step over to the senator. Senator's a little different style because, the senator's still fighting at the highest level of the sport. And senator could turn you like that with one punch. So I still think Conor Conor's competitive, but if the Senator really launches one, that could be the end of the evening very abruptly.
In your position as obviously close confidant and head of his promotional company, is it a fight you'd like to see him take? Because obviously it's an easier fight on paper than some of the other boxers he could fight, but it's also a lot more lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't you? I always put it this way: if the people speak, the people want it, the people will buy it. If they don't, they don't. But if any two guys that are professional that want to fight, who's to say why not? If Logan Paul wants to fight Floyd Mayweather, yeah, I'm tuning in. I'm buying. I like freak shows. I like weird stuff. I like I watch strange things already, and I hate when people criticize it. Oh, that's bullshit. That's whatever. Well, shut up. Then don't buy it. Don't we don't need your 2 cents. You know what I mean? Somebody wants to see it, or there wouldn't be a market for it. I mean, a lot of these younger kids, these YouTube kids, it's entertainment. We go out and sit in a baseball game or wherever. We buy different entertainment to go, to take our minds off things like COVID-19. But I'm good with anything. It's like Tyson and Roy Jones coming up. I mean, you call it what you want, but I'll tell you what it's not. It's not an exhibition. When that bell rings, these two dudes are gonna be looking to take each other's head off. There ain't no exhibition. Exhibition is some headgears, 20-ounce gloves, two guys working with each other, knowing that, hey, we're not here to really hurt each other. I mean, those two cats got ego, pride, and bragging rights. So yeah, I mean, if there's a market for it, I'm all for it, and I think it's a fun, big, entertaining fight. And again, if someone doesn't like it, don't buy it.
It gives you a bit of cover as well, doesn't it, I suppose? You see, this year, if we do get Mayweather, Logan Paul, if we get Tyson and Roy Jones in their 50s or whatever they are, people will be begging to see Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor as an antidote to it.
Yeah, and partly Manny Pacquiao has earned the right to do whatever Manny Pacquiao wants to do.
Yeah.
The man fought for 25 years, going on 26 years this year, and has given everything, has every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears, knocked people cold, you name it, he's done it for the sport, and he deserves in his, potentially his last few years, whatever possible fight is out there, that if someone wants to buy it and someone wants to promote it, he's earned it. Like, when all these young guys calling him out, he's so past that nonsense. What does he have to prove? I mean, he has nothing to prove. I'll tell you what, he proved everything by beating Keith Thurman. That win there was in the top 3 wins he's ever accomplished in his career, beating a 30-year-old man in his prime who came to rumble, was in tremendous shape, and the Senator at his age of 40, beating Keith Thurman says it all. So, the Earl Spences, the Crawfords, come on, please, be quiet. Fight you guys go fight each other and see who's left standing.
Great stuff. Well, Sean, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. I'm going to have to let you go for the rest of your long journey to LA, but I'm sure you won't be bored.
Thank you, Danny. And if you get a chance, you run across my good friend Andy Ailing, please send my best.
I see him quite often, actually.
Well, good. Send my best to Andy. We'll have to get together. We do it every few years. We don't get together often, but when me and Andy do it, always entertaining. We would do a good 4-round celebrity pay-per-view too. Me and Andy. You'll
have to let me come along and bring the camera.
Absolutely. Send Andy my best for real. If you see him.
I will do. Thanks, Sean. Take care. Speak soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.